Lovely to see you all here, especially the birthday girls. So happy birthday to Terry. I can see she's just joined us. She's probably drinking before. Well, she will be soon anyway. And happy birthday to Sandra as well. So happy birthday to you. And I can see also that our Hazel is still in hospital. So we're thinking of you, Hazel, as well. So hopefully tonight you will see a little something. So here we have, bring it into the middle, a little something for you. So as I said, I was going to be doing a fancy fold. So that is what it is. I've chosen some papers that I have got that I just haven't used really. I do have some available if you would like them, but they are another Paper Boutique selection. And it just goes well with what I wanted to do. So I've called this a gatefold pop-up card, but I don't know. It's not my idea by any means whatsoever. I've seen it in all sorts of different places. I've seen Mixed Up Craft. I've seen a couple of Stampin' Up girls. So yeah, certainly not my idea. Thank you, Sam. New nails today. Yeah. So not my idea at all, but my sort of twist on it. So we have a gatefold card. It's approximately a 6x6, but it's one of those ones that's not quite 6x6. And then when you open it up, you've got the little pop-up panels from it. So it folds flat, as you can see, like so. But when you open it up, you've got these sort of folding pop-up panels. The camera didn't like that very much, did it? Well, I do, so I don't care what the camera thinks. It's sort of, can't cope with that. However, let me show you how I made it. It's really quite simple. It just needs a little thinking about. So let's take it nice and slowly and think about it. And hopefully we'll achieve it. You never know. Done it once, so I keep telling myself I can do it. I can do it. Okay, so let's start off with, now first of all, I'm going to bring in my scoring and cutting trimmer to start off with, because I want to actually take this piece of card that I've cut and score it. So I've taken a piece of white ordinary card and I've cut it to 14 centimeters down this way, 28 along the long side. Now on my trimmer here, I've got both, a bit of fluff, a cutting blade, but also this black one is a scoring blade. And so it just makes life easy for me to do it along these lines on here. So I need to take it along the long edge, and I'm going to take this edge here to the number 7. So that's 7 centimeters. And I'm then going to score it along there. And then I'm going to move it all the way through so that this edge here is now onto 21 centimeters. And I'm going to then score that along that piece as well. Okay, I'm going to need this again later, but for now I'll put it out of the way. So I have scored it so that 7 centimeters in from both sides. And I'm just going to then burnish that little piece there. So here you can see we've got our gatefold already, and our two cards come together, two fronts I should say, come together like that. So we've got our base of our card. Now, as you can see, you've probably already worked out that we've got some panels to fit. So let me show you the papers that I've chosen. So they're from this pad, which is called Pretty in Pink. It's not a new one by any means. It's a Paper Boutique one. And I thought I'm going along the pink lines. So I've got some pink roses and bits and pieces. I've gone for the paper kit because I feel that that always gives me better value for money. And so you have got a variety, 6 designs of papers with all sorts of lovely roses and patterns on there to choose from. And there's 6 of each one. And then you've got the toppers at the back here. So you have got, gonna go for, did I pick that one out? No, I'm gonna go for this one because it's going to pick in with the colours I've chosen. So I need one circular one, and then I've got them at the back as well. I've got the lovely square ones. Now I have already taken my one out for that. You need to cut them down a little bit because you need them quite small for this project. You need them to be 6.5 centimetres square. So therefore, you just need to make sure when you're cutting these down that you choose one that is still going to look correct. So this one would do, because if I cut that all down, as long as I've got that little bird in the corner, that would all be fine. Yeah, they would sort of all be all right, actually. The only one I'm not so sure is that I might end up cutting that little bird off, but just be a bit careful with that. So that's our paper pad that I'm going to use. And as I said, it's called Pretty in Pink. And that goes, of course, with the top of the card. So not quite, well, I must admit, what I would call card. It's 200 GSM. There's 24 sheets of 8 colours, so therefore 3 of each. And of course, the perfect part of it is that it goes with all the correct colours that are actually in the paper pad. So to my mind, if you're not happy with choosing colours and being sure of which one you should go for, this one works really, really well. So that's all the colours. So the ones I have chosen are these. So I have chosen one of the beautiful sort of roses bouquet, which is the sort of pinky colour. I've chosen the dots because I liked those in my other card. So I've chosen the dots. I've then chosen that same pink that this is as one of the card bases, and then one of the beautiful sort of olivey green, which again is picked out here on these leaves, as you can see, and then again on this card. So it all goes in together really, really well. I've then chosen, as I said, for the front, I've chosen this colour, to be honest. It's not so much the sentiment, but this colouring, which is again this pinky colour, and it's got bits of green in it. And I've also pre-cut my sentiment for the middle as well. So I've taken this one, which was Thinking of You, and I've just trimmed it all down so that we've still got the bird, haven't chopped him off in any form, but I've just trimmed that down. So I'm going to be giving you all the measurements as we go along, but that's the colours and the choices that I have at this stage. So I'll pop that to one side for the minute. So we first of all need to cut some card for the panels, both at the front and at inside. So I'm going to take a mixture here. I'm first of all going to go with the green. So it's sort of, as I said, like an olivey green. And I need 2 pieces for the front, this one is. And I need them to be 13.5 centimetres by 6.5 centimetres. So I'm going to go to do a 13-inch square base, 13.5-inch square, no, 13. So that's 13.5 there, and 2 of those, that's 6.5. So that is for my front piece. Okay, pop that to one side, and I will need those in a while, so I'll pop them over there. And I'm going to do the same in my pink. So trim that to there. So 13.5 by 6.5, and again just cut those 2 in half. So they are acting as my first matte and layers. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece here, so this is my other bigger piece of pink, and I'm going to cut out this as 13.5 square. So 13.5 by 13.5. Okay, then I'm going to take a white piece of card, and I'm going to cut that piece at 13 by 13. And I'm going to need that little piece. I think that'll be enough. So I'm going to need that little piece to one side. And then we need to cut some coloured papers. So I'm going to use first of all my florally one, and that's going to go inside for me. I'll show you why I've chosen that as the inside rather than the outside in a little while. So I need 2 pieces of this, which are cut 13 centimetres by 6. So we will go, let's do that, 12 by 13. And 2 pieces of that, which are 6 there. And the same with my spotty dotty. 12 by 13. Obviously, you could use any papers you like for this, but I think that these go together really well. And as I say, with all of these, I just prefer the idea that we haven't got to mess about and worry about whether the colours go together or clash or whatever. So I think that that goes together really well. We'll sort out the other bits in just a while. Let's put these bits together first. So let's bring in my base card. So my card that's going to go into the middle, that is my layer here, and then a white piece in the middle. Now, the reason why I've chosen the white piece in the middle rather than a coloured piece is that I kind of want to hide, if I could show you that again, the mechanisms. So the mechanisms here obviously are white, and I just think that they're sort of, I know you can't possibly see that they're all hidden because they clearly aren't, but I think that if they're hidden as much as we possibly can, I think personally that looks okay. So there we go. That's the theory behind that. So I'm going to then pop I've got all sorts of glue bottles here. I'm going to go for this one, I think, because I don't need it to be ultra fine. So let's see if this one even works. Oh, yeah, look at that. So I'm just going to put some glue around the edges there and pop that straight inside into the middle of the card. So it gives you a little bit of a border all the way round, like so. Just make sure that it does when you're folding your card up. And then your white piece goes in the centre here. Hold on, sorry, I was just looking to see who's here. And I can see that we've got our ladies from Ireland. May and Catherine are there, so good to see you as well. Let's pop that into there. So again, leaves you that little border all the way around in your centerpiece. Okay. Now, my pieces that are going to go inside are my florally type pieces, and I'm going to put those with the pink background. So the same as I've got here, this pink background. So that one's going to go there, and that one is going to go there. Okay, so we've got those like that. So let's pop those down. So we'll put that one. And again, I've chosen the florally bit for the inside, because if I was to put it on the outside, if you can imagine this one, so we're going to have a similar front to this one, but if I was to put that on that side, I fear myself that it's kind of, can't do that inside then, but it's sort of lost. I wanted it to stand out more, but of course that's entirely up to you, but that's why I've done it that way, so that these pieces go inside. Okay, so let's stick those down. But again, another way of, I wouldn't say using waste paper. Well, not that we would waste it anyway, but I wouldn't say that. I would say that it would be more a case of you do need a fair amount of paper to use it. It's not sort of just your scraps, really. Whoops. So let's just pop that down there, and then this piece on top. Now, if I wasn't doing it in such a rush, I'm sure I would have a better piece on there, but there we go. So now we're going to close it up, and these pieces, so I've got the 2 green panels for the front, and then I'm going to put my pink panels on top of it. All right, so we will do that. So it's a really pretty pad, isn't it? I couldn't decide which one to use because I have got rather a lot, but they are just so handy to just, whoops, to do. Oh, come here. So when I was talking to you on Sunday, we had lovely weather, a beautiful day on Sunday, but it's been a miserable old day here today. But still, never mind. Good day for being inside and crafting if you can, anyway. Not everybody can, I know. Not those party girls whose birthday it is today. They won't be. They'll be gallivanting, I expect, or probably working, really. Well, it's nice that you're actually here, Anita. She's dashed in and she's dashing out again, but at least you're here. At least you're here. It did make it too busy, didn't it, Nicola? Commented that if I put those flowery patterns, it was too much. If you recall, this is the one that I'm going to put on the front. So I'm going to take this same green again. So this green card, we had some left over, as you recall, and I'm going to take the 4-inch layering dies from John, of which there literally are just a few left. And I'm going to take not the scallopedy one. Scallopedy? I make up words as you go along, really. But nevertheless, I'm not going to use that one. I'm using the plain one and the little dotted one just to give me. There is a far easier way of doing this, but would I do far easy? Oh, blimey. Right, and you may recall that the outer one will actually cut it out, whereas this inner one, the dotty one, will just give us a very deep dotted line. So I'm just going to run that through the die cutting machine so that we can then place that on here already. I thought you'd be parting at work. Yeah, I know what you're like. Not a lot of work got done in your office today. Well, it shouldn't have done if it's your birthday anyway. So can you see that? It's got a really lovely little dotted line. And then, let's just put that way. If you then put your sentiment onto there, it gives it such a pretty look without having to cut out loads and loads of different layers. I think anyway. I like that. You could, of course, put one of the squares on here. Whichever you fancy, really, but I thought that the circle looked nice. And I'm going to add that in a little while, the circle. Okay, so let's put that to one side for the minute. All ready to go with that. But let's now concentrate on the two, what I've seen written down as called the floating panels. Okay, so my floating panels, I need them, if you recall back, hold on. I've got the colours as my matte and layers as this pinky colour here. So I really want to have, from the pinky colour again, my panels outline. I'll show you what I mean. So I need to have two pieces on the inside which are 7 centimetres by 7 centimetres. And hopefully, she says, we should be able to cut them from there. So I'm going to trim that down so it doesn't take very much, just a slither off of there. And then turn that round. I'll cut it to 14 first, because then it's saving a bit of time. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. That's a miracle. We've now got two pieces which are therefore 7 by 7, and that's our pieces that we want as our floating panels. I've already cut this one out so that this is 6.5 by 6.5. So you can see that that now fits on there. And I think what is nice about that, as I said, is that there are elements of this same colour, this pinky colour, within here, complementing it, which I think looks nice together. And then I'm going to take one of the scraps that I've got of this greeny coloured card and trim that down to 6.5 by 6.5. You could put a piece of white card there so that you could write your actual greetings. Do I mean greetings? I don't know what I do mean, really. You could do that, but I personally didn't want to put it there, but you could, and you could just cut that out of a white piece. But I think the green piece looks quite nice. It therefore doesn't look too sort of in your face. So we've got that piece, and then we bring this over. And again, that then is the green that's on there. So it gives you that nice sort of coordinated look. And as I said before, I think these paper boutique selections, put that around the side. It's got a little nick in it for some, well, not a nick, a little bend in it, and I don't want that to show. So if I turn that round the side, then my eye is drawn away from it instead of looking at it every time I look at it. So there's our two floaty panels. So I now want a piece of white card, and if you recall, I said I've got a piece here that I had left over. And my floaty panels, I just need to check because that might not be long enough. I don't think it is actually. Let me just check because I need it to be 16 centimetres, and I don't think it is. So let's just check. No, it isn't. So not to worry. Got a piece from here. So is that 16 centimetres? Yeah. So I'm going to first of all cut a piece which is 6 centimetres along. And then 16 that way. So just take a little sliver because that's just what I happen to have. And then I'm going to do some scoring, take that up there, before I cut that in half because I need 2 panels. And it seems to me to make sense to actually score them and draw on them, which I need to do first whilst they're in one piece, and then chop it in half and they're both done at the same time. So I'm going to bring in my scoring blade, whatever you like to call it, first. And I'm going to, first of all, along my long edge, take my piece here to 3 centimetres. And then I'm going to hold that down and with my scoring blade run along. Then I'm going to move it along to the 5 centimetre mark. And this time, because I've got this type of trimmer and therefore I can do it, which normally, well, not normally, but you may or may not have, a ruler will be fine otherwise, I need to make a mark on the 5 centimetre line. So I'm going to hold that in place 5 centimetres. And because on this I've got a very thin little, the cutting bit where this, or the scoring bit goes in and out, I can actually put my pencil through there and make a line on there. Otherwise an ordinary ruler or something would be fine. I'm then going to move it along to 11 centimetres and score again. And then finally to 14 centimetres and score again. And then I'm going to turn it round on its long bit. And because I've got this machine, hardly a machine, is it? Well, sort of. Because I've got this paper trimmer here, I have got centimetres obviously going up to 30 odd on that side, but on this side up to just over 3.5. So I've got a piece here which is 6 centimetres wide. I want to cut it in half, therefore that's 3 centimetres. So if I put it at 3 centimetres that side, 3 centimetres that side, I know that I have then got a straight piece of card and I can cut that at 3 centimetres all the way down. So I've now got 2 pieces that have been scored, 2 pieces that have been marked, Wonderful. Now, I also need to take my 2 panels here, and I need to do a little mark on these as well. So I'm going to take my ruler, and that measures, fortunately, as I cut it out, 7 centimetres. You can't see that, can you? Because it's glaring back. And I haven't got one that doesn't glare back. So believe me, it measures 7. Half of 7 is 3.5. And put a little pencil mark there. And I'm going to do the same for this one. So half of that is a 3.5, and a little pencil mark on there. Okay. So now we need to do some folding. So let's start off with this. So we are going to fold that. So I've got, first of all, I'm looking at it that the 3 centimetre piece is on my left hand side. So that piece, let me just check that I'm telling you correctly. That piece is going to be folded that way. And we are going to have that piece folded that way and that piece folded that way. So they're all going to be folded that way. Okay, so it's going to kind of look like that. And the same with this piece as well. Okay, we've got 2 pieces, opposites though, because we need one at the top and one at the bottom. So the one that I'm going to put up the top is the piece that has got the 3 centimetres square on the left hand side. But I'm first of all going to put my sentiment piece in there. So we just need to measure as well. So we had this little mark here, which was 5 centimetres along. And I need to just mark where the halfway line is there as well. That was 3 centimetres. Half of 3 centimetres is 1.5. So I've put a little mark there. I'm just thrown it on the floor with gay abandon. And I'm going to do the same with this one as well. So half of that is 1.5. And a little mark there. So I've got a pencil, rubber rather, that I can just rub those pieces off in a little while. So let's put these into position. So again, 3 centimetres on the left-hand side, because this is going on the left-hand side of my page. And I'm going to measure up that little mark there that I said was halfway there with the halfway piece there. So to start off with, I'm going to put glue. Let me bring it up so that you can see. If I fold those pieces over, I'm going to put glue onto this section only, not where that piece is there, just this section only. Okay, so let's just put glue there. And then when I put my square on there, I'm going to, don't forget, measure up that mark to that mark. And then if I get that absolutely straight, I know that, and keep that straight on that line, I know that that piece will be absolutely flat. Okay, so that's there. And I'm going to do the same on this one. So we've taken that all, and I'm just going to put glue onto this section here. So not onto that piece there, just onto here. And again, I'm going to take my mark there. I'm going to marry that up with a mark there and keep it along the straight line, knowing therefore then that that will be nice and straight. She says, hopefully, of course, because you never know, do you? You don't in this household anyway. I'm just going to rub off those little marks. Whoops. Because we don't want anyone to know that there was a secret place where we folded them, do we? I'm going to bring my card back in. So let's place this one first. So where we need to position this is, we need to make sure that our top of that square is on the top of my card. And then this little square here, the one on the left-hand side, the one that is a proper square, this side you've got some triangle, rectangles. But this side, you've got a proper square. It's going to go just by that edge. So you've got the fold here, and it's going to go as close as you can to that folding edge, but without impairing it. So you don't want it absolutely on the edge, because otherwise it won't shut properly. So it's just before that score line. And you want to put glue onto this square only. So let me bring that up to show you. Whoops. Just that square. So not that little bit there, just that square. Okay. So again, I'm going to pop it down. I'm going to have the top of this square absolutely at the top of my card. And I'm going to then put the edge of this piece just inside that score line. So I'm going to try and keep that all nice and straight. And then I'm going to fold over and shut that side. Give it a chance to grab. Okay. So then when it opens, it pulls that up. All right. Then on this piece, I'm going to open it up like that, and yeah, you can see it. Fold those two pieces, the only two pieces that aren't stuck now. So you've got a square and then a little rectangle. And you are going to put glue onto this little rectangle. In fact, I won't put glue. I'm going to put some power tape, because I want it to stay quickly. If you've got all the time in the world, then by all means you can do that. But whilst we have got all the time in the world, really, we've also got better things to do as well, haven't we? I'm sure you have, anyway. Not least of the fact you may well want to be watching John at 7. Who knows? If you're watching this live. So let's remove those power tape pieces, like so. Okay, so put that on. You could put just glue, and don't forget this is on the last two bits here. Okay, just on the last two bits. We're then going to bring that all over. So I've tucked these right behind, kept them flat. Bring that all over and then just press down again. And because it's the tape, it's going to grab quickly, so that when we then open it, we've then got that floating panel. Now, the one thing that will not happen now is that the card will not fold open completely flat. Okay, so you haven't done it wrong if that's what you're now thinking. This will not fold open completely flat, but it doesn't matter, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing with your card, really, is it? So we're going to do exactly the same again now, and we're going to do it down this end. So we take our piece which has got the square on there, so you can see that hopefully quite well. Yeah, you can see that square. I'm going to put glue onto that piece of that square. So, oh goodness me, it's the piece that's actually facing you. So you've got your coloured piece of card and your glue all on the same side. So we then measure that up so that we have got our bottom of our square is right down on that card edge, and we take the edge of this glued square right up to the edge of that score line. Then we take our piece of panel here and we pull that over and stick that down. I could be putting all power tape on both of the pieces, to be honest, but we didn't. So we're then going to put on this end, on that last panel, going to put, I've got 9mm tape, and by the way, I have more of the power tape coming in the next couple of days. So look out for that, because I had sold out of nearly everything, I think, but I've got some more 3, 6 and 9mm tape all coming in over the next couple of days. So we're going to remove our pieces. There. Oh, stuck to me. There. We'll remove that. We keep it open like that, just so that you can see where we're going with it. And then we're going to just fold all of that piece back on itself. So where that score line is, the whole lot gets folded back on itself like that. Yeah. Then we hold it down so that we know that that's folded, and we close the whole thing so that it finds its way and it sits down nicely. So that when we then close our card and then open our card, we have got those panels which are both floating. Hold it up like that, you'll be able to see the mechanism of it all. They're floating, but they're also folding completely flat. So I think it's brilliant, brilliant idea. And as I heard, I'm not sure if Sam Colcott on Mixed Up Craft or whatever it's, yeah, Mixed Up Craft. I'm not quite sure if it was her her idea first, but we all see each other's, and that's what the beauty of crafting is, being able to exchange the ideas, which are lovely, and we all do different sorts of it, which is great. So we just need to then pop finally our little panel, which if you recall I made up earlier, which was our sending best wishes, and popped onto the 4-inch layering dies. And I'm going to put it into the middle, but obviously because this card opens, I only need to put glue onto 1/2. Otherwise, all the trouble we've gone to for the middle bit won't be seen because we'll have stuck it all together. So I'm just going to put glue onto this bit here, and I'll go on the side of caution rather than being absolutely measuring it. But I want to make sure when I put it down that that circle is as centered as I could have it without measuring and everything. I'm sticking that down on that side, but that side only. Give it a chance to grab, because when we then open it, we've got our floating. Do you like that? I like that too. Yeah, I think you sorry, I'm just looking at the things. Yes, you will. You do have to think about it, but the beauty of YouTube Live is that it's live right now, but it's also recorded forever. So that when you do get half an hour to spend, it looks more complicated than it is, I must say. But those little panels there, if you just watch this and pause and start it as you do, I think it's just a lovely card. And I have to say, without having to think about it, if you've got some papers lurking somewhere, maybe you bought some of the Meadow Charm, I think it was called, a couple of weeks ago, that type of thing means you don't have to think about anything. So yeah. Hold on, I'm reading what you're saying. Also, someone said about the bows. I can't remember. Sorry, it's gone. All the things have gone up. The bows and the bow maker have come in. Oh, sorry, the ribbon and the bow makers have come in today. I will be contacting those who were at the workshop because unfortunately a lot of the colours weren't available. I've got all the bow makers. There are quite a few of the colours, but some of them weren't available. So for those people that are listening that did reply and wanted some, I will be sending you an email later today to let you know what's available and what's in. Okay. So yeah, it absolutely. Just someone's just saying about the papers we bought last time. That's the way to do it, really. Even if it's just practicing. I'm sure that if you got your measurements sorted out, but I didn't for this one, you could go and do this with a completely different size card. But this will then fit into a 6x6 envelope, and you know, that is going to go through, if you're in the UK, your ordinary letter size. But then when you open it up, I reckon it's pretty impressive, don't you? You can always do your writing and bits and pieces there as well, of course, because the idea is that it would be standing up on someone's mantelpiece like that. So you would then be able to see the sentiments. Or, of course, plenty of room to write on the back. So there you go. I hope you liked our card today. I liked showing it. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, yes, just right on the back. Yeah. Can we save tutorials, please? Does anyone know? Yes, indeed, you can. When this is finished, if you simply look at it again on Facebook, on YouTube, just underneath the description, there'll be a little button that says save, and you can save that. The bow makers aren't on the site because they've only just arrived and I haven't had a chance to sort them out, but I will. And I do promise I will show you how to use them as well, but just haven't had time. Now, very quick, sneaky, peeky, not a sneaky peeky. I will be just popping on to a quick live tomorrow morning, which is Thursday, the 23rd of February, just at 11, just to show you a little something that's available tomorrow. And otherwise, I will be back again on Sunday, the 26th of February, at usual time at 11 o'clock. But as we said, whilst they might be live at those times, always, all of these can be saved and used at any time. Okay? Yeah, lovely. So 7 o'clock, you need to have a quick cup of tea and then run over to watch John in the Craft Cave Live. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. Tracy, the leafy sprigs have come in, but the flags have not. But I will be putting everything on the website for you to see in just a short while. So bear with me and I'll get you all sorted. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a lovely evening and I'll see you again tomorrow morning, maybe 11 o'clock. Take care then. Bye.